Hello, everyone. I'm Sheldon Barlett Rumor, and this is it. Welcome back to This Is It TV. It is always a pleasure to talk to my dear friend. I'd love for him to reintroduce himself, his first and last name, and all he's up to.
Sheldon, I'm Louis Bezich, men's health advocate, contributing writer to phillyvoice.com, and the author of Saving Men from Themselves 20 Proven Tactics with a New Approach to Healthy Living for Men Over 50. How are you?
I am so good. I am so good. I'm always better when I get to talk to you. It's always a new perspective on how to live better, how to thrive in these times. What do we have going on today?
Today we have the proximity of motivation as our topic. Now,
Love
what is that? Well, you might remember me. Part of my advocacy is always recognizing that we have tremendous and powerful sources of inspiration to live healthy right in front of us in our spouses, children, family, work colleagues, our professional ambitions, second careers, whatever it might be. But that's the good news. The downside is that too often we overlook those opportunities and that inspiration because they are so close to us.
Yeah.
It's like as we were saying, it's like the pictures on the dresser, of all of our loved ones. They're so close. We see them so often that sometimes we kind of overlook, the power and the inspiration that they can provide.
Sure.
And recently, in my day job at Cooper University Healthcare, I had an epiphany and realized, and wrote a Philly Voice about this, that one of my colleagues is a right out of the Men's Health playbook, a 50 plus guy who was an accomplished trauma surgeon and also a colonel in the U.S. Army Reserves.
Really? So
Yes.
it's one of those things where, again, we're moving so quickly and within our own lives, we're surrounded by the motivation in which we need. And we talked about this multiple times, right? It's not as if we aren't aware of some of these things. It's not like we haven't been introduced to some of these things, but we tend to forget in the hustle and bustle of our
Yes.
lives to the point where you might have even overlooked somebody that was right next door to you or working within
Yes.
your same realm that can really help you in leveraging or bringing this more of these stories to market.
Exactly. So I work with a great guy named Dr. John Chavanis, and
Yeah.
he is what we call it at work here, my dyad, right? We team a clinical person with an administrative person, that'd be me.
Yeah.
And we do so in military affairs. We do a lot of work in military affairs. And Dr. Chavanis is his day job is a trauma surgeon, does incredible save lives, does incredible work here. But because of his military affiliation, he's built a nationally recognized trauma training center here at Cooper, where
Yeah.
military physicians and all sorts of clinicians come here to train in our trauma because they need to be what they call battlefield ready. And they can only get that in highly effective trauma units where the cases are, the closest thing you can come to a battlefield experience. So he's developed this nationally recognized program that's been acknowledged by the American College of Surgeons. And, I support him in that and do some other things. But so he's this great guy, but, his inspiration to go to medical school and develop his career was largely based on a lot of inspiration that he shared with me from his father, who
Mm,
said, John, go get it. You can do this.
mm.
His entry into the military was part of a competitive experience with four other brothers that he's got that are highly successful guys, and part of the dynamic there was getting inspiration to excel from his relationship with his brothers. And now today, he leads a healthy lifestyle. He's highly influenced and supported by his spouse. His wife, Samantha, is a tremendous person who really encourages him, and he's got a gym at home and things like that. So he's leading a healthy lifestyle.
Well,
That lifestyle and his whole career has really been built on leveraging those inspiring factors in his own personal life. So it really is a case study in that proximity of motivation on the positive side.
100%. And I think that there's a trickle down effect, right? Those that have been positively motivated by who or what their circumstances, the proximity of those circumstances,
Mhm.
then in turn it becomes this contagious kind of scenario where again they become in proximity with you and then they become part of your story and what's in proximity with you and then you're in proximity to me and it's this
Right.
contagious scenario that happens that we don't really pay attention to until we pay attention to it. And I think that us lifting our heads up and kind of looking around and just taking note of the motivation that we've had, taking note of the photos on the bedstand, taking a minute to sit with yourself in the hustle and bustle of your life and see what those motivating factors are, I think is really important.
What you're spot on, Sheldon. Social contagion, as we call it, right, is a powerful, it's influencers, in today's parlance, that would be influencers on social media and whatever. And
Yeah,
right. And the point is that we all have, we're influenced by sometimes by folks we don't know, but there's such a great opportunity when we look around, as you just said,
yeah,
to get inspired by people we do know or people that are within our world and really think about that. And yeah, it's a level of consciousness. It's a level of recognition that really brings us there. And that's why it's so important. But
uh,
once you get there,
yeah.
it's a way to sustain that relationship because if you see others sustain, then you can do the same.
And that's true. I mean, I think that again, with all the wonderful conversations that we focused on family, we focused on those individuals that are in our lives, and that might be moments, right? We look at them, we're like, okay, we got to get through the graduation, we got to get through the stepping up ceremony for the eighth grade grandchild, we've got to get to all of these kinds of moments. But then maybe they kind of twinkle off. Maybe they kind of like subside in those spaces. I liked what you said about that maintenance of that inspiration, motivation, and accountability. I like the idea that we're holding on to those as opposed to them being fleeting occasions. How do we keep it as this kind of steady Eddie scenario that we don't really lose track of or, after the wedding, right? A lot of people get into
Right.
those issues. They get fit for the wedding. They get fit to walk their daughter
Right.
down the aisle. They get fit in those spaces, but then it dwindles because we're not really focusing on that beacon anymore. I think that this could be a really great way for us to stay motivated continuously.
That's what the role models do, right? They
Yeah.
show us that how to do just that, how
Yeah.
to sustain and maintain those habits, routines, and rituals in between those events.
Yeah.
And as we've talked about before, you can also, once you do that, you develop the discipline, quite frankly, and
Sure.
the willpower to get through, get from one event to the other. But then you can also, another really important tactic, and I talk about this a lot, is what I call, micro events, right? It doesn't have to be a wedding. It could be just going out to dinner with your spouse.
For
It could
sure.
be going out to dinner, as I do a lot with my adult sons.
Yeah.
Any little micro motivator to say, hey, look, it's not a case of like necessarily, losing 5 pounds because I want to go out to dinner, but
Sure.
it's that social connection that really reinforces the point that, hey, I want to be there for those adult sons. I want to be there for my spouse. And part of that is just to be healthy. So a lot of ways to like learn from our role models and then internalize that.
I love that. Whether they're roaming the halls in spaces in which you work, or
Yeah.
whether they're in your phone on that bedstand within that photo, or just a phone call away, it sounds like there are people that can motivate you and keep you focused on your goals just right around you all the time. All the time.
That's
I
right.
absolutely love that. This was a really great one. Pay attention, folks, to those people that are around you, that motivation that continues to support you on a day-to-day basis. But if people want to get in touch with you, if they want to follow, fan, and like all that you've got going on, where do you find that information?
On social media, of course, it's at Louis Bezich. And on my website, which is louisbezich.com, you'll see everything that's going on in my world of healthy lifestyles.
Oh, we love that. We love that. We follow, fan, and like everything that Lewis has going on. We suggest you do the same. We promise you will not be disappointed. From all of us here at This Is It TV, I'm Sheldon Barlett Rumor, and we will see you soon. Take care.